Welcome to Shallow. One podcast, two time zones, diving deep into a new topic every week. From pop culture to beauty and wellness trends, careers and ambitions, these conversations flood our WhatsApp inboxes and social media feeds. Dialing in from Sydney, Australia and London, UK, we're asking the same question. Is it really that deep?
Today's Shallow take: book clubs are boring, a bit stuffy, and mostly just a cover for drinking wine with your mates while pretending to have read the book everyone is talking about. You've heard it, maybe you've even said it, but what if book clubs could be something much more, something social, inclusive, and maybe even a little bit smutty? Today we're diving into all of that with Caitlin Curry, the founder of London Girls Book Club. She's created a community of over 16,000 women and people where book lovers can build lasting friendships. We'll be talking about how Caitlin built London Girls Book Club from the ground up, why women-only spaces matter now more than ever, and how a book club can turn into a lifeline, a connection in an increasingly isolated world. Oh, and we've also got some hot takes from the community themselves, including one Hinge date who clearly didn't know what he was in for.
Caitlin, thank you so much for joining us on Shallow. How are you? And do you have a little recommendation to kick us off with?
Absolutely. Hello. Thank you so much for having me. So yeah, my recommendation is Freakier Friday. So obviously everybody's probably read and watched Freaky Friday. Don't know why I said read, it's not even a book. Has watched Freaky Friday. So I only watched it last week and then I went to the cinema this week to watch it, and I just think everybody needs to see it. It's just a little bit of empathy back and forward between like mum, daughter, granddaughter, young kids now. I loved it. I thought it was so funny and really good. And I was the only one in the cinema watching it. Like literally I was completely on my own, one person, and there was no one else there. But I'd recommend going to see it anyway.
Private screening. I love that.
It was definitely very creepy, but it was a good vibe. Freakier Friday, yeah. That's what I'd recommend.
Because
Freaky Friday reminds me so much of being a kid.
Yeah, so it was definitely an experience.
The original is like one of my favorite films, like full nostalgia. And I think I was having a bit of like, I'm so sick of all these reboots. Like I've been a Debbie Downer about it, but I will watch it on your recommendation.
Definitely. You know what? It was so good. I loved it. Everyone was really great.
Let's dive in with your kind of personal journey into London Girls Book Club. Obviously, it doesn't sound like you're from London, but that's where you live now. How did this all kick off? Where are you from?
Yes, so I am from Newcastle. I'm a Geordie. I try to keep my Geordie accent as much as possible in London. We started the book club 5 years ago when I first moved, and I didn't know anyone. I'd moved with my boyfriend, who's from Kent. In my opinion, has a super posh accent. We didn't know anybody in London and would spend our time in TK Maxx. So we literally just used to go to TK Maxx and just walk around at the weekend because we literally, one, didn't know what to do, and two, didn't know anyone. So at that point, it got a bit sad. and I was like, I need to make some friends. So hence when I thought, starting a book club is where you're going to be able to chat to people and make friends. However, that was not my experience, because when I went to a book club, I had a great time, but people just chatted and then left, and there was no sort of connection. So I thought, let's start a book club that is social, and also we get to chat about books. So it was mainly around drinking when we first started drinking alcohol. So it was very much meeting, having a drink, chatting about books. And it started with around 5 of us, grew to around 15, which was an amazing group. Still friends with them all now, which is super lovely. And then we started posting more on social media and it just grew. And I really think people just started to see, I want to meet more people. Books are actually cool now, and going to a book club is actually maybe where I'm going to find my people. And yeah, that's how we started. So started at TK Maxx and ended up with 16,000 girls coming to book club.
That pipeline though, from TK Maxx to 16,000 people following a book club. I love it. It's amazing. So obviously it's called London Girls Book Club. I kind of want, for people who haven't heard of you, I want to just ask you, like, why girls? Why women? What is it about the women that you bring into your book club? Like, what? Obviously, it's for women, but is there something else to it as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So the reason that we started it to be the London Girls Book Club is just to basically connect other women with really like-minded friends, people that they can just totally be themselves with, feel super safe. I was going through a bit of a difficult time with my mental health at that point and didn't really have like-minded girl friends. And also I felt like a lot of the books that were written, that a lot of people were reading, were by white men and were just very male focused. So I decided to create a book club where we only read books by women or trans and non-binary authors, and just really uplift that female focused vibe and read thought-provoking books where we actually see ourselves in them, and we're not just reading books that men have written about women, because if you have read books where men write women characters, they are absolutely horrific. So that's why we wanted to connect women together around female books and just have the best time and meet people that you feel safe, you feel loved, you feel like you can be completely yourself. And I just feel like there wasn't that space in London where women could just come and just not have to worry about anything and be able to be completely themselves.
Oh, I love that. I think it's just so wonderful, especially your book selection as well, because I think, going back to something you previously said, reading is having like a real resurgence moment at the moment, isn't it? Like, all like romantasy is blowing up. Like, how do you feel like that's played a part in London Girls Book Club's success?
Yes, definitely. So when we first started, I remember I was a primary school teacher and I would go into school and I'd say, oh, I'm going to my book club tonight that I've started. And they'd be like, right, yeah, a book club. Or I'd feel embarrassed telling people about it. But now it is huge. You know, there's so many amazing book clubs in London. There's so many girls that want to come, want to chat about books, mainly because of the rise of TikTok and Book Talk, I think is absolutely huge. And we are not yet to post a lot on there, but we definitely have seen a lot of people coming from Book Talk, then find us on Instagram and wanting to connect with other readers and just really get excited to talk about books. And that's the best thing for me, being a primary school teacher that really wanted to develop that love of reading in the classroom, to now being able to give that to so many amazing women, and for them to not only read books but to make friends is incredible. And definitely because of the rise, I think, of Book Talk and social media, making reading more cool or more like a mainstream thing to do.
Yeah, I think we're living in kind of like a more, you know, kind of isolated world due to like social media, due to always being on our phones and kind of having this more like agoraphobic look on the world. And, you know, I'm in the safety of my home, the world is scary, how do I make friends? And I think especially like post-university, post-school, post like education, when you're kind of then thrown out into the world, whether that's going back home to your parents or yeah, you're making the step to go to London. I know I felt a little bit like that as well when I moved down to London, because it's a scary place when you first move here. I think when you've been here a while, it's kind of okay, but when you first move down here, especially like I'm northern as well, represent. You come down and you're a bit like, oh, this is the big city, and yeah, I think I would have loved to have had something like London Girls Book Club to join when I moved here, because I love the TK Maxx analogy. I feel like that's such a very British analogy of what it's like to kind of, yeah, move somewhere and be somewhere for the first time. But I love the fact that it's a place where like women can feel like they don't have to shrink themselves. You know, they don't have to like self-censor themselves, because I feel like we do that a lot in our jobs, in our life. And this kind of like feeling of kind of true community, really. There was an actual quote that I found that I thought was interesting, because you mentioned the kind of like feeling isolated, feeling kind of depressed and a bit anxious about meeting people. And apparently, according to the Federal Centers for Disease Control, social connection can lengthen our lives, help us better manage stress, anxiety and depression, and improve our sleep quality. So not only are you kind of bringing people together, reading these fun books, you're also helping people's mental health, which I think is just amazing.
Thank you. No, that's really kind. I do think it really is a lifeline for a lot of people. And we find so many people first come to London and within a couple of weeks they're joining London Girls Book Club, which for me is just absolutely incredible, because, you know, I waited a year before I had that. And there's just so many amazing communities out there. You know, there's not just London Girls Book Club, but I think having that and being able to think, okay, I want to join a book club, you search, you find it, there's an event coming up, you go, and people make you feel safe. They make you feel like, okay, I've got ADHD, I can just be myself. A lot of us that come, I feel like, attract my vibe. So people just that come are very chatty, very, you know, fun, very welcoming, very friendly, trying to just bring that Geordie vibe to London. But I think just knowing that they've got that even within the first week, they don't have to wait to find that is really amazing. And I'm really glad that we're able to do that for people.
I think it's incredible. And I going back to what Lucy was saying as well, like you first moved to London and it's isolating and it's scary. Like, I think regardless of what age you're at, really, because you're kind of alone in a bit of a sea full of people. And yeah, the next thing you know, you're wandering TK Maxx on a weekend for something to do. And I know I would have loved it when I was living in London. I think going back to the kind of the initial like shallow take of book clubs, Lucy wrote a hilarious description on our run sheet, which, you know, they do have a bit of a reputation of like drafty town hall, sad crackers, someone monologuing some literary like bullshit. How are you kind of like, I know you've already touched on it a little bit, but how are you redefining that space? Because we'll go into the answers that some of your community gave us, but I'd love to hear it from you.
Yeah, so to put it down in one phrase, we did twerk classes. So we did a bookish twerk class where we had everybody come. We did a twerk dance class. Then we did a book swap afterwards. We're mainly just wanting to shake up, change the space of book clubs where you come and it's just absolutely boring. I hate it when you go somewhere and people are just talking, nobody's getting involved. There's no sort of pushback from different people, there's no activities. Obviously, being a primary school teacher, I was constantly, how can I make this engaging, how can I make this exciting for everybody, how can everybody want to be involved? So with the book club, when you arrive, we have friendship questions, so you have connection questions, so you're never feeling like you're on your own or you don't know what to talk about. We have activities, whether it's, you know, write the ending of the story or can you like recreate the front cover of the book. We do just loads of random things, like we have a stack of books and we get the girls to guess how many pages are in the stack and we have prizes. We do random quizzes about the book. It's just silly fun things, but we always ask the community what they want, and ultimately it's about creating a book club that is not just where you sit and chat about something that's so boring and you think, why have I come here? You come away feeling really energized and connected to the people around you and that you're really glad that you turned up and came.
I was going to ask you actually what events you do put on, because I know you obviously do the book reads and I think you do like a run club as well, because I think I saw that on your Instagram. But what other themes are there that you kind of follow, or do you kind of just make it up on the spot? I know one of my really good friends is a primary school teacher and she has that kind of same mentality of like, how can we involve everyone? And you don't want that one person to feel like they're sat there on their own and left out, and you don't want to have to go around with like a name badge on and go, I'm so and so, and you know, it's just that awkward thing. So yeah, having an activity, having something to kind of like draw from just straight from the bat, you're like, well, I'm having to like dive into this now, I'm gonna have to do it, like there's no getting out of it. And then once you start doing it, you're like, actually this is really fun and this is just something, you know, silly we can do with like other women and other girls. So yeah, what other events could you tell us about?
Yeah, so we do so many random different things just to get the community involved. We listen to everybody and go from there. So we do a walk and talk book club, we do a run book club, we do writing meetups, we have dance classes. We're currently planning like a smutty country line dancing book club, which is going to be very fun. But we just do so many different things. We do around 8 events a month. We do 3 different book clubs. So one that's in a cafe, Gales, which is more sort of cozy chats with cinnamon buns and chatting about the book and having a few activities. We do a walk and talk book club where you walk and talk and chat and get some fresh air while chatting about the book. So it's never sort of boring sitting down chill vibes. It's always an activity involved. Like I say, we've done twerk classes, we do so many different things. This month we're working with Lush. We're doing a pamper and bookish evening. We are doing a women's circle. It's all about basically trying new things with women who don't know anyone, want to try something new in London, but also love books. So the difference is that you have that bookish connection rather than just having lots of different interests. So it makes it super easy, because when people come, they can just say, oh, what are you reading at the minute? And then it's never awkward, or it's never just someone walking around feeling on their own. There's always something there. Like there's myself, there's coordinators, and yeah, what makes it different, I think, too.
I'm going to tell Phoebe to take a shot because I'm going to ask you a question now. Are you a Swiftie, Caitlin?
I am a Swiftie.
So it's very important on this podcast that we get as many Swifties on as possible. And the reason that I say this is because when I was looking into your kind of events and what you run, I saw an event on your website that you're running, I think in March next year. I think it's in March next year with Harry Styles versus Taylor Swift, musical themed pottery with Carb Club and London Girls Book Club. And I'm going to be there. Like, I was like looking at it yesterday, like, sign me up.
I love that so much. So actually, that was in the past, so that is my fault for not updating the website clearly, but that we've already done that event, but we definitely will do more events like that in the future. So Carb Club are a literally incredible pottery company that run musical theme workshops, and we did do the Taylor versus Harry. I wasn't actually there, which is so sad, but we are doing one, and we're going to be listening to Taylor Swift's new album and painting mugs and having the best time, chatting with other girls who love Taylor Swift and reading.
Sorry, podcast aside, I need to come.
Yeah, Lucy's gonna be there.
You're free, please come. I'd love to have you there.
Honestly, I feel like Taylor Swift and book clubs at the moment are just going really hand in hand. I feel like there's so many like Taylor Swift playlists for so many of like the book series like ACOTAR and like Fourth Wing that everyone's kind of curating. Even like the authors like Rebecca Yarros created like kind of a playlist and it had like, you know, So It Goes on it and things like that. I was imagining kind of like a ghost situation with like Patrick Swayze, but like everyone was there pretending it was like Rysand or something, or like Zayden Ryerson behind them, like doing some sort of pottery to Taylor Swift. Sorry, I went on a random tangent then, but I feel like we have to mention Taylor Swift. She's just, I mean, she's a great writer. She like writes amazing music. She's also like a poet by heart, like through and through. And I think when people, especially when I read, when I was like younger, it would like always go alongside listening to Taylor Swift. It's always that kind of like, and especially with the kind of the finale of like The Summer I Turned Pretty coming out next week. I don't know if you've read those books or like watched that series, but that's really nostalgic to me. And yeah, just kind of coming into this more like new age of maybe the kids that read a lot when they were like 15, 16, now coming into reading again. Yeah, it's really nostalgic, and I will be attending.
We actually did a women's circle where we had a book called Still Unwritten that has loads of Easter eggs about Taylor Swift. And so when we did the women's circle, we actually danced to a Taylor Swift song as part of the women's circle. We all got given Still Unwritten by Carolyn Curie to take away, and it was just very. We always add. We've always got to add Taylor in some way.
I love that Lucy will always find a way in to talking about Taylor Swift. It's the best. It's one of the reasons why we're friends. It's great. And I love that there's connections across the board. It's so good. And if I was there, I would absolutely be coming. That sounds fucking epic.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode. If you're enjoying Shallow Podcast, it wouldn't be shallow of you to give us 5 stars on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts, and it would mean the world to me and Phoebe. Thanks.
I just wanted to dive in to some voices and some kind of bits we grabbed from your lovely, very willing community. And I'm going to ask you about some of your all-time favourite books. But we chucked out the kind of question to the London Girls Book Club community asking, what is the biggest misconception about book clubs? And some key themes that come back, to no surprise to anyone, is obviously a bit pretentious, a bit stuffy, not at all social, which, I mean, everything you've said just sounds like the absolute opposite of what you're building. But we just really wanted to pick out some of our favourite responses. One said, my Hinge date was in it for the smutty reads. He didn't get a second date. Which is...
He said that it wasn't okay to read those books. He said they were just smutty romances, nothing good to talk about. So rude.
Get in the bin.
So rude. Also, I'm just like, let's not just like tear down stuff that women find fun, you know? Like, let's not do it. And then the other one, which of our favourites, was it's for people who sit in knitted vests and gilets with not much going on in their lives. Boy, was I wrong. It was the knitted gilet comment for me. And the other one was that it has to be high and mighty, intellectual opinion, when it could be like, they finally shagged, I was so excited, or I fucking hated that part.
So that's my friend Jazz, and she actually said that to me in person, and I was making notes. So I actually wrote, they finally shagged in my notes app, which I love.
Honestly, the amount of times that me and Phoebe have like voice noted each other when we've read a book, and you're like, oh, it's kind of like not getting into it, but I'm like maybe a quarter of the way after her, and I'm like, just wait, and then I'll get like a voice note from her like, oh my god, they shagged. It's
like an
it's so funny.
I actually just wanted to ask you about a couple of your favourite books. So, one, what's a book that has changed your life or the way that you think?
Oh, interesting. So I'm actually reading one at the minute called The Courage to be Disliked. And I know it has had a bit of controversy. So I haven't actually read any reviews about the book. So we'll put that there. I haven't read the reviews about it, but I'm loving it because it talks about community feeling and how the ultimate happiness is when we give to others and we become useful to other people, which is very suitable to the London Girls Book Club. And there's a second one, which is called The Courage to be Happy. And it is about education and how we praise and rebuke or tell off people, but it becomes into adult life as well when you're talking about, shouting at someone versus telling someone they're so amazing, or even when you're a manager, and it has really changed the way I think, because it's a very interesting take on work, on life, on basically how to be happier as well.
Oh, I love that. That sounds great. What is one of your favourite book to TV adaptations?
Well, this is a hard one because I would have to say The Hunger Games, because we did do a rooftop film club event, which was super cool, where we all read the Hunger Games series and then we watched the film. And it was an amazing experience to do that together. And yeah, I love The Hunger Games. And I think it's an amazing adaptation to film. Love dystopian books as well. But I haven't read, mainly I watch things before I read them, which is terrible. So I'm trying now to read ahead of things that are coming out on film, like Emily Henry's I can't remember the name, Meet Me on Vacation, I think it's called. It's coming out on Netflix next year. So I'm going to try and read that before it comes out, because basically I end up watching things, then reading the book, and so I can't really comment. But yeah, Hunger Games and the films are obviously incredible. I would say that one.
They're really good adaptations. I think it's called People We Meet on Vacation, I think.
It is, yeah, People We Meet on Vacation.
And my last question, curveball book question, your favourite nostalgic read?
Oh, do you know what? Angus Thongs and Perfect Snogging was my favourite nostalgic read until we read it again for book club, and it was horrendous.
No,
don't say this.
It did not age well. It had lots of things that would not be okay to say or read now. However, I love that book, but I've got another one. So Holly Bourne is her book. I can't remember the title. I think it's Am I Normal? Am I Normal Yet? Maybe you might have to put that in. I think it's called Am I Normal Yet? Basically, Holly Bourne YA series is my favourite nostalgic read. It's about being a teenager, being yourself, sort of coming of age. And I love young adult fiction anyway, but Holly Bourne is my absolute favourite author there.
Oh, that's so sad about Angus Thongs and Perfect Snogging. I think that's like one of my most nostalgic reads. I mean, I think I read so many of her books, and I think I went through a phase as well as trying to like write in my diary in the same way as Georgia Nicholson, which is completely tragic, and I hope I never find them because they're somewhere deep in a box.
I did the same thing. If it makes you feel better, I did the same thing. And also I did my A-level and my GCSE English language piece on Angus Thongs and Perfect Snogging, the film. I stood up in front of the whole class, played clips, talked about it because I was so obsessed. So
that is iconic. So Georgia Nicholson of you. Did you do it in an olive costume?
I didn't, but I still am yet to dress up as Georgia for a party, and maybe Halloween this year is the time that I do it. because we want to have
Honestly.
sort of a bookish themed Halloween party where we all come as characters from books. So maybe that's the time to come as Georgia.
You'd have to do a reel for the book club of you running down the street towards the book club and entering as the Olive. Like, that just has to happen. I will help you create this.
If you can help me create that, I will definitely make it happen.
I mean, if you do just think of the surface level of it, like Slaggy Lindsay just off the bat is just not really great. But, you know, kids are horrible and kids do think like that. And I feel like when we were that age, that is kind of like, that was in our kind of vocabulary, I would say. And like that, yeah, it was kind of normal of that time. But yeah, probably doesn't translate very well. So obviously at the end of every episode, we do have to kind of wrap up, and, you know, we've done the shallow take that they're, you know, book clubs are this like, you know, stuffy, pretentious space, maybe for people over the age of 40 or more, you know, but it seems to be, you know, attracting a younger audience. It's attracting more of a fun and inclusive environment, I would say, and especially London Girls Book Club. So really my question is it really that deep, Caitlin? London Girls Book Club, book clubs in general, are they really that deep?
Yeah, I think that they're an amazing place for everyone. And the point that we said that we think it's just for older people, I honestly think that they're for everybody. My 80-year-old nana comes to London Girls Book Club and has the best time ever. There's people in their 40s and 50s that come. I don't think that it should be the space where you say, oh, it's just stuffy, it's just for older people. Older people can come and have the best time at a fun, inclusive book club where there's not warm wine, and you can actually just have a bit of fun with cinnamon bun and latte, and you don't have to drink, and you can have just a silly time with people that actually want to make new friends and chat about a smutty romanticy book.
You had me at cinnamon bun.
Full stop. No, I just wanted to ask kind of what do you think is next for London Girls Book Club, and also what book are you reading at the moment? What is the club reading?
So at the moment we are reading Shield of Sparrows by Devony Perry, which is a romantasy set in a castle with a princess that is sent to marry someone that she doesn't want to marry. I had never read romantasy really that much before this, but absolutely loving it. We are working with Penguin HQ. What is next for us is working with way more amazing publishers, creating incredible experiences, making sure book clubs aren't boring, taking the girls on trips, doing more retreats. We're currently planning a trip for February and a trip next year as well. Just getting more amazing women together to chat about amazing female reads and have the best time, and yeah, show that book clubs aren't warm wine and boring.
And you went to Bali, right, with the book club recently? That looked amazing.
We went to Bali for 8 days. We travelled around, tried new things together. It really was just the epitome of what London Girls Book Club is, because it was girls that maybe wouldn't have gone to Bali on their own, wouldn't have climbed a mountain that we did together, wouldn't have gone whitewater rafting, maybe were quite scared of some things, but we all were together doing it with girls that loved reading just as much as everybody else. We're talking about, you know, books while we were doing lots of different things. We had book swaps, we had reading parties, and it really was the idea of what London Girls Book Club is, which is bringing together like-minded women to be themselves, try new things together and leave more connected. And we've got loads of plans to do things together afterwards. Some of us have been to gigs and done things together already, and that's the point of London Girls Book Club. So that's what our trips are, and we had the best time ever in Bali. It was so fun.
Oh, it's so glorious, and honestly, it's so great to see you just crushing it, Caitlin. Like, you're such a ray of sunshine, and I think what you're doing right now is so important. I think, you know, going back to what Lucy said, like, we're in a bit of an isolated time at the moment, and often, yeah, like, stepping out your front door does feel a little bit scary. We're very used to, like, hiding behind our screens, and I think anything that brings people together in person, especially, you know, leaning towards the female side of things as well, is just really, really needed, those safe spaces. So thank you.
No, thank you. And there's so many amazing book clubs in London doing incredible things, and I think that's what's so fun, is seeing where we started and then seeing how many more amazing book clubs are opening up for so many people as well, and changing the game, which is fantastic as well to see.
So if anyone is listening and is thinking, I want to join this book club, what is the easiest way for somebody to do it? Is it just to go directly to the Instagram?
Yes, follow us on Instagram, follow us on TikTok. We have no followers on TikTok, but you can find us there. You can then join our Eventbrite, join our WhatsApp group. All of our events are on Eventbrite. You can come without ever seeing or meeting us before, and we're super welcoming and we're really excited to meet you. So join us on Instagram, find our link tree, everything is there, and yeah, we can't wait to see you all.
And now it is time for...
And what a part of bollocks!
This is the part of the show where we just wrap up, chat shit about something just really, really grinds our gears, fucks us off. Caitlin, you're our guest today. What's it going to be?
I would say tube strikes. Can I say that? Is that boring? Tube strikes, people on the tube that play their music really loudly at the minute. That's really annoying me. So sitting on the tube, literally playing your music out loud without any headphones. Like, in what world is that okay?
I feel like it's such a British thing as well to just sit there and take it as well. And there's always those, like, you know, when people ride bikes down the street and they like strap their speaker onto the front and they're like cycling with their music blaring out, sometimes at 6 a.m, like, and I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you playing literal house music at 6 a.m through your massive speaker on the front of your bike? It's the same with people in cars as well, when they're driving by and they've got all their windows down and then they're just blasting Drake or whatever it is, and you're just like, and they're looking around to see if anyone's like, is anyone listening?
To be fair,
Am I cool?
to be fair, I don't mind people blasting music, because from their car, if it's good music and it's going to put me in a bit of a good mood, you know, for the day, like I'm going to have a little dance on the way to work, or it's going to put me in a bit of a good mood. But I feel like there's nothing like being trapped on a train with nobody saying anything. Everybody just, that's another thing. I think what annoys me most is the fact that no one speaks to each other. Everybody's just looking down, and there's this one person that's just playing something really loud out loud. And it's like, if we could just look up and just chat to each other, this problem would be solved. Like, we'd just be like, oh, please can you turn that off? But because we're literally just, nobody is looking at anybody. So my thing now is to chat to more people, whether it's at the gym or on the tube or anywhere, because I feel like then more problems are solved.
I love that. That's so good. Also, I hard agree with your what pile of bollocks. Like, people playing shit music out loud winds me up. Well, all music. Well, I don't know, not Taylor Swift, but it's never Taylor Swift. Thank you so much for listening to Shallow. If you enjoyed this episode, we'd love it if you could leave us a review. It makes a huge difference in helping others to discover the podcast. We always want to hear from you, so feel free to slide into our DMs or follow us on Instagram @shallowpod, or send us an email at shallow@boxedoff.studio. Shallow is a Boxed Off production, written and hosted by Lucy Bell and Phoebe Whittle. We'll see you next time.